Good morning to one and all. We will start a new chapter today, crop production and management, the first chapter in science. So, before we understand why in standard 8 or in 8th grade, why we have to study crop production and management. But before that, I have written few numbers on the board: 7.7 billion, 1.37 billion, 11%, 159.7 million, right? What are these numbers? Now, how are these numbers related with crop production and management? So, let's understand. 7.7 billion approximately is the world's population. Okay. 1.37 billion is approximately India's population. Right? 11% of the land is cultivated, or 11% of the world's land is used for cultivation. I will just write here land, or it is in terms of different words. So I will write world's land for cultivation, and 159.7 million hectares of land is cultivated in India. That means India has the largest land, or we can say India stands second largest in cultivation. Now did we understand that? If you come to see India's population, 1.37 billion India's population, that means we all of them require food. So to survive on the earth, to get the food, our 159.7 hectares of land is used for cultivation. So basically, we all require food for our survival, right? Why do we eat food? We eat food so that we get energy and we can perform various life processes activities. We do so many activities in our day-to-day life. We do running, walking, our all motor activities. Then apart from these, internally in our body, life processes activity when we talk about, that is circulatory system, our heart pumps, respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system. So all these activities require energy. Now where do we get our energy from? We get the energy from the food what we eat. So where do we get the food from? We get the food from the cultivation. That is, cultivation is nothing but growing of crops, right? Now, when we talk about crops, we will understand in depth about what is a crop, what are the different types of crops, how crop production and management. That is why we are studying the chapter crop production and management. So, in this lesson, we will be studying about what is crop production and management, how do we proceed, or how do we follow, or how do we do this crop production and management, and why we have to do this crop production and management. So, we will be answering all what, how and why in this chapter crop production and management. So, basically, how do we define a crop? So, when we are cultivating some kind of a crop on a large scale at a particular point, or when we are cultivating the same kind of plant on a large scale in the same field or at one particular place, that we term as a crop. I define it once again. Cultivation of same kind of plants on a large scale at one particular place is called as a crop. For example, if I have grown all rice plant, that means I have a rice field, or it is a rice crop in a particular field. So that we term as a crop. So when we talk about a crop, there are basically seasons in growing a crop. You all might have done this in your previous classes or in social science also. So what are the two seasonal crops when we talk about? Actually, there are three seasonal crops. But here we study two seasonal. Third one is a optional, but we'll still discuss about that. So when we divide the season, we divide them in terms of Kharif crop and Rabi crop, right? We also term the third category in this as Zaid crops. First we'll understand what are Kharif crops. Now what are Kharif crops? Crops which are grown during the rainy season. So rainy season means I can term this as from the month of January to September. Crops which are grown during January to September during rainy season. Yes, of course rainy season will not start in January, but still we consider this particular season type of a crop known as Kharif crop. Which are the crops will come under this? The crops which comes under Kharif crop are soybean, maize, paddy, groundnut, cotton, etc. Right? That means these particular crops require more amount of water. There can be a question, why paddy is grown only in rainy season? Why it cannot be grown in winter season or summer season? That's only because paddy requires more amount of water. Now that means we do water. We do in the sense, now in the field farmers do water as a source of irrigation, which we study here, but still they require additional water, extra water. So that can be only fulfilled by rain, right? They get extra enough water apart from the water given by the farmers to the field, right? That is why rainy season crop or Kharif crops require more amount of water to grow. That is why these are termed under Kharif season crops. Now when we talk about Rabi season crops, they do require water but not as much as the Kharif crops. So these crops are basically grown in winter. So from, you can say, October to March. Now example, you can take this as mustards, wheat, or grams, pea, linseeds, etc. So these crops do not require much water as much as Kharif. That is why they are termed under Rabi crops or Rabi season crops, which are grown between the season of October to March. These are the examples. Now what are Zaid crops then? Zaid crops are the crops which fall between Kharif and Rabi. That means which are grown in between this. Now what is the season then which are grown in between this means? These are grown basically in, I can say, summer, or summer season crops are called as Zaid crops between, you can say, March to June. Right? Now which are the types of crops we grow in Zaid crops? We grow basically seasonal fruits or vegetables under this particular season, but most of them we refer to only these two. Name the two types of crops or name the two types of seasonal crops. We always understand that in terms of Kharif crop and Rabi crop. Now we have understood that what are Kharif season crops, what are Rabi season crops, but now we have to also know that how to grow them, right? Once we are growing them, how to take care of them. See, when a baby is there at home, you know in and out of it, what food is to be given to the baby, how to take care of it, if it is not well, what medications have to be given. Similarly, now when you are growing a crop, right from the time of selecting the seed, sowing it, then watering it, till it grows, harvesting it, storing it, step-by-step processes have to be followed. That is what we will be studying over here, agricultural practices. Now before we go to the agricultural practices, let us have a small example to understand the agricultural process better. Now we all do gardening at home, right? So basically what do we do in gardening at home? First and foremost, what we do is, we see that do we have a good soil, or is my soil fit for the plants to grow? Yes, we check with that. So if it is not, what do? We actually moisten the soil, or we actually loosen the soil. We do tilling, we do plowing, all these things in a small scale we do in our small garden, right? That is the first step. That means we prepare the soil. so that I can grow the plants very well, flowering plants, fruits or anything. The first step what I do actually is here, I prepare the soil. So I just write here prepare, right? After I prepare, what do? I have to sow. If I have to sow the seeds, I should know that I should choose the best quality seeds or the best quality sapling or whatever. Why? Because to have a healthy yield, right? So selecting of the seed, select the best quality seed so that the plant which grows further is healthy, which will bear the good healthy fruit or flower, right? So we select it. After selecting, what do? We do the sowing process, right? Now sowing process is done. Next, what do? Take care of it. Now how do we take care of it? See, additionally what it requires to grow. That means we provide external, we provide external food, extra food in terms of nutrients. Our body requires nutrients, you all know that, right? Micronutrients as well as macronutrients. So similarly, plants also require some extra nutrients. So what we do here, we add manure or fertilizer. We add manure or fertilizer in terms of by giving extra nutrients to the soil so that we have a healthy plant. After that, what do? We actually water the plants regularly, regular intervals of time. So we should know what type of plant requires how much amount of water, all these things, right? So here I will write watering, but exactly when we do in farming or agricultural practices, we call that as irrigation. So irrigation is watering the plants in a large scale. I'll write here, anyways, I will just write here watering, or water I'll just write here, because here we are doing gardening, exactly. Then, now once you garden it, what do you actually do here? So we are done with preparation, we are done with sowing, adding manure, fertilizer, we have done with watering it. Then what you do? Finally, we check that are there any weeds grown, to see that either it is stopping the growth of the plant what I have already sown there. Yes. So we spread weedicides, or I will just write weeds here. We check on the weeds. If there are weeds, I try to remove that manually, or sometimes I use pesticides or weedicides to get rid of the weeds. Why? What do these weeds do? These weeds will actually hamper the growth of the plant which is growing. How? By taking all the nutrients from the soil which we are actually giving it to our plants. So the plants will not get those nutrients from the soil because that is all absorbed by the weeds. So we do weeding method, or that is nothing but weeds are the unwanted plants. So we get rid of the weeds in terms of spraying pesticides or weedicides, or by removing the weeds manually, right? After this is done, next step we do, our plant is now ready for harvesting. It is matured. So we either get a fruit or a flower depending upon the plants we have grown. So we harvest it, right? Now our work is done here? No. After harvesting, what do you do? Okay, in a small scale, assume that you have grown lemons at home, because lemons or mangoes, you harvest that. So after harvesting, you just throw them here and there? No, right? We store them at our place. How do we store them? We store them in such a way that it is not affected by biotic and abiotic resistance. That means it is not affected by moisture. It is not affected by rain, water, nor any bacteria, rodents, mice, etc. Right? We see that it is kept in a clean and safe place. That means after harvesting, we store them properly. Storage. There are different storage methods. Now here it was just a simple technique because I gave an example of gardening. What we do. We do follow these steps when we do gardening, knowingly or unknowingly, but we actually follow these steps. So there are 7 steps here what we followed. Similarly, there are 7 agricultural practices which are followed for a better crop yield. We will study each and every steps in detail. So let us see which are the agricultural steps. So these are the 7 basic practices of crop production. Now which are those? As we discussed in the gardening, what we use: preparation of the soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds, harvesting and storage. So we will be dealing with here, for example, now first when we discussed about preparation of soil, we will be first understanding what is preparation of a soil, right? How we have to prepare the soil, why we have to prepare the soil. Similarly, for each sowing, adding manure, irrigation, for each and every agricultural process, we first understand what is the process, what is sowing, what is actually manure, what is actually irrigation. Then we understand how are we going to implement it, or how are we going to do this process. Then we do it, but why actually we have to do it, right? In the whole chapter, we will be only understanding this for what, how and why. We will be studying in detail about these processes in our next class. So, in chapter crop production and management, along with 7 basic practices of crop production, we also study a bit in brief about animal husbandry. Right? So, what is I wrote the spelling wrong. So what we actually do here is we get as we discussed in crop production and management, you again have a bit detailed about this chapter about crop production in your 9th standard, as well as animal husbandry again you study in your 9th standard. Here a bit in brief we study about also animal husbandry. What is animal husbandry? Rearing of animals in the production of meat, or which gives us a source of a protein, is called as animal husbandry, which is nothing but a livestock. Where all we use, which are the different types of animal husbandry, only we study that much, right? Because again in detail you have that in 10th standard, sorry 9th standard. So these 7 basic practices of crop production, each processes we will be starting from we will start this in our next class. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.